On this, the 14th of the Spiritual Aloneness series, let's take a moment just to sit here quietly in the presence of God. And we turn to something written by St. Charles de Foucault. My Lord and my God, help me to find all my joy in endlessly repeating your praise. You are entirely perfect, and you I love without limit. In quotation marks, you are entirely perfect, and you I love without limit. When I ran into this and prayed with this morning, I found it so powerful in two ways that really spoke to me. One is all my joy in endlessly praising you. And that just ratifies something I'm so certain of, that we are created to praise God, because in praising God, we find our joy. We can focus on the problems around us, and we need to look at them. But in praising God, we leave ourselves and our lives and are caught up in God. And therefore, by just this simple phrase, you are perfect, we capture all that God is, and somehow that reflects back into our own lives. Because when we praise God, in many ways, what we're doing is saying that life is beautiful. It's wonderful, because our experience of life and our experience of God are intimately linked. And so praise brings us into this perfection of God, and brings us, in a very real sense, into a deeper love for life around us. People do not praise God very much nowadays. And I think part of the sadness of our age is that we've lost how wonderful it is to be caught up in the joy that is praising God. And the second thing that really calls to me is, you I love without limit. Well, I know that my own capacity to love is limited. But when I speak of you I love without limit, it's as though I love with the love of God. And for those of us who live alone, that can be a very strong grace, because we find that the love of God is poured into our hearts, and we return it to God. Now something almost limitless. We won't experience that limitlessness until we pass away. But for now we get a taste of that. And this becomes almost an aspiration for our lives, to love God without limit. What a way to be praising God all the time, or frequently during the day, and to say, you I love without limit. It brings this beautiful intimacy more deeply into our hearts, and allows us to use our aloneness in a very real way to reach out more wonderfully to God.